Good afternoon, very good afternoon to all the participants as well as my Dean Academic for introducing me. Right. The topic he given to me is EFDP, a review. Right. So you all can be very happy. It's going to be an qualitative session only. So we don't have any quantitative marks on this. All right. So coming to my college, I have to thank. Please, participants can mute your mic, right? It will be easy for us. So, coming to my university, I have to thank my chairman, president, managing director, then vice chancellor, pro vice chancellor, registrar, additional registrar, dean academics, dean engineering, dean research and development, all of them, as well as HODs and faculty members, for giving an opportunity like this to get in touch with all the people during this COVID situation. And I also happy to say that Bharat Institute, right? Bharat Engineering College is the first self-financing engineering college in Tamil Nadu. So we are very proud of that all the times. And see, this engineering college has been in university status for us by 2002. And I am also happy to say that we are accredited by NAC, then UGC, and then Abbott. We are also in running with QS ranking as well as NIRF, etc. Everything. We have totally 163 programs combining both UG and PG. We are running 163 programs. University also holds medical, dental, pharmacy, arts, law, physiotherapy, etc. Everything. So we are very happy to be with our university as well as with the campus. I belongs to Bharat Institute of Science and Technology. It's about the engineering campus, right? So here you can see the topic, Dr. Venkatesh Babu. We used to call it as VB Dean Academics. He is very young-minded person who always thinks something on like this, and he has started in a very short period. Last week he discussed, and this week the program is done, and we have plenty of participants. I thank one and all the participants, right, for attending in a very short period with all the difficulties, etc. Everything. So my session is a qualitative session. How to begin an FTP. So I feel very happy. Let me enter into that. Right. So what will be the objective of the session? The objective of the session is how to organize EFTPs, right? How to organize the EFTPs. Of course, you'll be knowing how to make an EFTP. Then maximizing the effectiveness of EFTPs, right? We can organize an FTP. That's not going to be a big thing. And how you are going to effectively organize this EFTPs. Then ultimate goal is that I have to enhance the participants' experience, right? So we, from the beginning, we are trying to work on this objective. So at the end of the session, I assure you, you all will have a knowledge on this, right? So how you can very simply organize an EFTP, right? How it can be maximized, right? It can reach, and how the participants are going to be happy, right? I'll share my experience. I have seen some more senior persons also on the screen. I'll share my experience. Let you see. We'll move to next slide. I hope so. Someone else, please. You can mute your mic, sir. This EFTP's beginning. First one is that you are going to replace the conventional FTPs. Right. So conventional FDPs, in the sense, that's also going to be an worthy one, right? Then apart from that, your time, money, traveling, getting permission to be openly discussed, all these things were very hard, right? But now coming into this session EFDP, you can say it's going to be a cost-effective one. First one, we don't want to spend a more cost-effective in the sense to the host, those who are going to conduct, there also the cost is going to be not that much. Similarly, the participant who is going to attend, right? he also don't want to spend more on going and attending and spending some money on transport, etc., everything, right? So one is cost effective, then the next part is your time saving. Let's say if the FDP is going to happen in 100 kilometers, 200 kilometers, like that, if you want to travel, right, all your transportation takes most part of the time, right? This time saving is also an important point of this, right? And then next, a small thing is that you should be an tech savvy, right? So what is this tech savvy in the sense? A person who should know, yes, please, yes, a person who should know something related to working on computers, some basics on working with networking, etc., everything. I think that is more than enough, right? So then this is designed to improve the performance of the faculty members. The aim of the FDP is to improve the performance of faculty members. Right? Sure, of course, for that we used to go and we used to energize ourselves by attending various FDPs. See, if not, what happens is we will be somehow lagging, right? And those who have completed your degrees before some years, now the students will know most of the recent technologies. So we should also run behind them. If not, there will be a gap, right? So that's why we try to do all these things. So this is the impact why the accreditation bodies ask for FDPs. A teacher should learn all the things, right? Most probably they have to come into effect with the recent technologies also. So this augmenting organizational capacities and the culture, organizational capacities, if you do FDPs, this which in turn makes, right, the organization will also grow, right? They will also have the capacity as well as the culture in the organization. It's all focusing towards the faculty, right? So they think the organization is also going to work with the faculty. When the faculty grows, the organization grows. You will have a vice versa on all these points, right? So considering these are all the inputs, right? Next is this serve as a tool for improving, refining, and fine tuning the teaching skills, right? So this EFDPs, it may improve and that is fine tuning the teaching skills, right? So you all know, right? In early days, we don't know more about the internet. Then internet comes into effect, then we come for IoT. Then next in the IoT, then we go for IIoT, right? So daily you have some revolutions. Unless otherwise, as I am an electrical engineer, I talk the examples with the electrical. But similarly, I have seen so many professors who are here with various departments, and my dean has also taken the topic as common to all as such this involving teaching learning process. So there is no other go unless otherwise, if we are going to improve ourselves in that's and fine tuning the teaching skills, right? We are essential. We should know all the tools. So that's why we try to go attend FDPs, try to get acquire knowledge, convey the knowledge to the students, right? Even if you go and teach the same thing, what you know, right? What they can read from the book, students will also not be happy. So that is why we also try to give some new things on them. Whatever the things come, we should also share with them. We have so many things to share like that. So this is about the refining or fine tuning the teaching skills. Then to produce a positive effect on students performance, unless otherwise, right? Sharing the knowledge, the teacher has to share the knowledge, right? Latest things, what are the latest developments we are going to share. This makes automatically the students performance, right? It will be in a different manner. See, there should not be any transformation from book to board, then board to student, right? That is all, it's all a way out. So we cannot go for that. Going for new things, searching for new things, as discussing the new things with the students. Then, as you see, the students, their mind will be young. Then they may give you some uh, accolades in a different manner. So you can feel that also when you get into this, right? Then ultimate the outcome of the teaching learning process. I think in morning also you have seen about OBE, outcome based education, and so many things they have discussed. COP, PSO, etc. Everything. We all will feel the same thing happening in the college, and the same thing is here also, right? It's not like that. The teaching learning process changes day by day, right? So you can have the regulations changes. Then you can see we never expect, right? UGC says due to the COVID situation, you can keep an online examination. You can do any meeting tool, so you can conduct online classes. It's conduction of online classes not only for college students, right? It starts from a school student, a KG student also they are conducting an online class. So this faculty has to be tuned, right? They have to know all the latest tools such that the outcome of TLP, right, which will be better. The teaching learning process will be better. So that's all the point we have to share with you. Then maximize the potential of the individual and the organization. Right? When you conduct plenty of activities and you are showing yourself in a different manner, which not only maximize the potential of the individual, and it also brings some laurels and accolades to the organization. So your organization will also feel very happy. So this, which in turn makes you greater when compared to rest of the people. So that's why when doing or when you are going to take part in any of the activities, uh, particularly related to teaching learning process, or it is with respect to social responsibility, something with your organization. It's benefit of the individual as well as with the organization. Then we discuss about the smarter working environment, right? So the smarter working environment, you have so many things to discuss, right? So how to make a smarter working environment, right? So you can see we have a hard push towards the earlier conventional systems. Even conducting an FDP also, right? We say smarter working environment. uh, when you have to get the permission, right? You have to print the notification, then it has to reach and it has to do all the things. Well, if you do the same in an electronic version, we will discuss the same point once again, right? All these works are done in a better manner, right? So someone is asking approval. So that's a smarter working environment. Then is networking with peers, right? So when you do for this faculty development program, right? Networking with peers, this is going to be the most important one, right? When you go for some industry persons to take care, right? So if you go and invite them, and if you go and invite them to do a session for you, now at least you can see the latest sessions with R programming, and similarly with IoT, then with Arduino, etc. So many things are happening, right? So you can see and most of you would have seen this IIT Bombay's some of the courses, right? So they are doing so many courses. You can also go and join with them. Then if you want to conduct any of the courses, they will help you, right? So many things are there. Even your students can also go and participate there, and you can, they can get the e-certificate. Similarly about the MOOC courses, why am all these things are coming, and you can have a connection of peers or the experienced peoples, where you can have the connection. Establishment of the connection is also made easier instead of going which and calling them, right? Instead of a direct connection, you can have an virtual connection with them very easily. They will also feel happy. Then coming to this statutory requirements, even though you conduct an EFTP, we follow all the statutory requirements. What are the requirements? We have to fulfill all the requirements, because the FDP, whatever you conduct, it has to be taken into account by the accreditation bodies, right? Accreditation bodies, in the sense we talk about ABET accreditation, NB accreditation, NAC accreditation. So many accreditation bodies are there with respect to university level or with respect to institute level, and engineering college or whatever, right? So you follow all the statutory requirements, then only these accreditation bodies will accept all the FDPs, whatever you conduct, right? We'll go to next. This one is about as we talk about the FDP. I want to share you some important points about the FTP from AICTE. Right, we all are almost right. All the institutions are monitored by AICTE. Right, even though it's going to be an university also, it is monitored by AICTE. So I have taken the example as AICTE information on FTP. So there you can see very clearly, you will get a notification that's an PDF file. You can Google it and you can find out what is this AICTE impact on this FTP. Their objective is that they will provide an financial assistance to facilitate upgradation, right? They will provide you an financial assistance. Then where and to whom and all you can conduct the FTP. The fields covered, which can be not limited like this engineering and medicine. It's about engineering, medicine, arts, law. Then you can do for aero, right? In most of the fields you can conduct. All these are supported by AICTE. Unless otherwise anything related to your institution level or something related to your personal level, they will not cover. Other than that, all the things, right, whatever related to technical community, teaching fraternity, they will accept all the topics. So there is no issues in that, right? Your objective, why we tell this is, if you apply for a FDP towards AICTE for a funding, then your objective should take care of all these points. That's the impact, right? So you can just have a brushing on this to enhance teaching and other skills of faculty, right? So to whom should you conduct the FDP? It's not for any industry persons, they know, right? They are somehow working real time with the equipments and with the latest technologies, uh, so they don't want that, right? So to enhance teaching and other skills of faculty, right? So you can see this is the main objective of the ASD. You can Google it and you can find out what are the information. I am giving you crisply about the information. So what is that? See, then next one is who are eligible to apply for AICTE FDP, right? So AICTE approved institutions. Almost there is no institution without any AICTE approval. All the institutions are going to be AICTE approved institutions, right? And if you are going to be an AICTE approved institution, first part you are clear, right? Then next one is coordinator, right? Whenever we come to any program, there will be a leader, right? So for us, leader, we have a dean academics as my leader for this FDP. Similarly, you have to identify a leader, that we call it here as a coordinator, and he must be a full-time regular faculty, right? A coordinator must be a full-time regular faculty, right? If you identify the coordinator, of course the coordinator should be an excellent person who can accommodate all the levels, right? From the participant level, from the faculty level, and he should also known to the management where he can do the work, etc. Everything. He is going to have a very burden, right? Of course, sure. Whether even it is an EFDP or if it is going to be a conventional FDP, whatever it may be, he is going to have an headache only, right? So let me choose a very good coordinator. Then next is maximum 5 proposals per institute per year. So how many FDPs you can conduct for my institute? I can apply only 5, right? So here you have to note a point. These things were only for, right, conventional FDPs, right? Let me go to that. We will move to next slide, right? Then how much is the duration of the FDP, which is given by AICTE, right? It's not by some ATAL program. The case is different, right? Then in some other funding associated programs, the FDP may be different, right? So here the duration of the FDP will be 2 weeks. That is 7 and 7. I think almost 14 days, right? Then limit of funding, they limit up to 7 lakhs. Right? Maximum you can claim up to 7 lakhs and not more than that. So you can go for this. Then type of the training, what are the trainings you can give, right? Your training may be pedagogical training, as what you have seen about the OBE, then the Bloom's taxonomy, and relating PSO, PS, PO, CO, etc. You can have an pedagogical training. Then subject related training, and in most of the engineering colleges you have this subject related training, right? Then training related to moral human values, then quality issues, etc. That is also dependent, right? So for all these sort of types of trainings, you will have, right, the approval from the AICTE, which is made very easy. Right. After that, then you have next one is about the terms and conditions. Right? If anybody is going to fund, they will have certain terms and conditions. You have to follow all the terms and conditions. There is no other go. Nobody will have a deviation on all these things, right? So when you are going to apply, and you are going to apply well in advance, then AICTE order will be issued for conducting the FD. Then they will release the funds. Right? The release of funds is not going to be same for all the category of institutes. If it is a government institution, the category is different. If it is a self-financing institution, the category is going to be different. That is about 50-50, then 80-20, 70-30. After completing the program, you can claim the 30%. And first 50% you will be receiving as an advance, right? Then you can fund, right? That can be done. Then about the funds utilization. So when you get the funds for each and every utilization of the fund, right, you should have give the proper chart to them, right? So what are the things, what I am going to do, etc., everything. Then of course it's a must. AICTE insists you to support, keep the supporting bills as well as photographs also, right? We should take the activities going on, and you should keep the photographs, right? Everything, all these things to be submitted at the end of the FDP. Then you have to make copies of the proceedings. Whether you are going to do by conventional system, or if it is going to be an EFDP, whatever it may be, copies of the proceedings will be made ready, right? We will make it, right? Making our institution in collaboration with the AICTE, the faculty development program, we will give the copies of the proceedings. So copies of the proceedings will be given. It has to be submitted to the AICTE also. Then the participants, it says you can have a minimum of 50 participants. Right? We never worry about the maximum condition, but you should have a minimum of 50 participants from the teaching faculty. Then at the same time, as I discussed about the leader or a coordinator, right? So an honorarium will be provided to the coordinator also. So after the long headache doing all the process, he may be awarded with an honorarium by the AICTE also. Similarly, the resource persons, whoever you are outsourcing, whether he may be an industrial person, or he may be an expert, a professor, eminent professor from any part, you can give an funding, right? Sorry, an honorarium to the research person also, which is also allowed in AICTE, right? Then next is pro forma evaluation sheet, right? This is a next category in the FDP information. So here they will ask about the institute details, first one. Then next one is coordinator details, and then followed by that next is FDP details. It's all some 8 to 9 lines. What's your institute, where it is, then the number, then the name, AICTE's ID, etc. Everything will be there. Then about the coordinator detail, they will ask the coordinator complete details about his PG, PhD, right? Then how many papers he produced, how many patents he produced, then how much knowledge he is going to have on the same field. All these things should be answered by the coordinator. So this coordinator details will be taken care, right? Then they'll ask you some details about the FDP. So what is the FDP, which title it is focusing, whether it is a pedagogical training or subject related training, right? How many faculties will be benefited by this, right? How the teaching community will be benefited, then whether these subjects are coming in next semester, or it is going to be in which year, etc. All some details to be done, right? So you have to make care of all the details that comes under the proforma cum evaluation sheet. Then last one is about the credentials, right? Anyhow, a institute can submit 5 FDP. Similarly, we have plenty of institutes which are all connected to AICT. So how the AICT will consider my application, my FDP proposal? Similarly, how the AICT will consider my neighbor or my colleague who is working in other department, one case, and my friends who are working in some other colleges, how all these are selected. So you have a credential criteria. In that, credentials of coordinator is the first one where it holds 25 marks, right? It holds 25 marks where the detail about the coordinator. As I said, right, the coordinator is a PhD, right? Then he completed how many PhD scholars, how many patents he have hold, right? Then what are the international publications, what are the SCI publications, focus. Then like this, they will see all those things. They will make a mark, 25 marks for the coordinator level. Then next to that is credential of the organizing institute. Organizing institute, they will have 10 marks from where and which, how many years the institute, etc. Everything for that. Then the institute have the facilities, the institute have the laboratory, right? The latest equipments in the corresponding FDP title. They'll see all those things, right? Then about the organizing department. The department should also have all the faculties as well as their facilities, the lab, etc. Everything they will check. Then finally comes to the FTP. The program weightage is given 55 over here. There it is 25, 10, and 10. Right, about the coordinator, about the organizing institute, organizing department. It's all 25, 10, and 10. Then the major weightage is given to the FDP. That is 55 marks. So what it means is you cannot choose a very ordinary topic, right? You cannot choose a very ordinary topic. Instead of that, you have to choose, right, an a latest technology topic where we find more use on that, right? Whether say suppose you can see IoTs, then the Arduino Unos, all these are coming, right? Then some new softwares are coming, so you have to get into that, right? So this why I am saying is uh, making a topic for your FDP, right? Then applying the proposal, right? So the topic should be, you should spend some more time on making the topic, right? Where that topic should be an relevant to the department, right? It is relevant to the field, as well as that should be an latest topic, right? So it should be like that, right? Then next one is the AICT notification on this MOOC courses, right? You all, I think most of you were teaching faculty. We all used to do NPTEL courses, right? So there is an MOU signed between AICT and NPTEL for recognizing NPTEL MOOC courses as FDPs for faculty promotions. Directly they have given, they have signed as such, right? So even I have done nearly 6 MOOC courses for the past 3 years, right? So we got some disturbances, right? So you can see nearly I have done nearly 6 FDPs. So what is that is, I can go and see on that all the FDPs are conducted by IITs and IIC, like that, right? And in Swayam, you can see IGNO will also participate, NITTR will also participate, AICT will also participate, right? But in NPTEL, it's only with respect to IITs and IICs, right? So now you come and see here, what happens is, if you go and see the courses, unless otherwise, if there is anything new course, then only the course is approved as an FDP course. You cannot see the microprocessor or microcontroller, you cannot see electrical machines, you cannot see electric machines too, like that. These courses will not be an FDP course at all, right? When you go for design of PV system, right? Then when I go for electric vehicles, right? Then the electric vehicle design, if that is the case, if anything which is going to be new instead of conventional, then those courses where approved as FDP course from NPTEL, which is also recognized by the AICTE. So you can get two shots if you select a course, right? And if you select a course such that which is going to be a new topic or a new course, new subject, right? You can learn the subject as well as you can earn the FDP also, which is supported for faculty promotion at the back end, right? So you can have the benefit. That's why I want to say the benefit here, and I want to show the detail also, right? In most of the NPTEL courses, what we select is you will have the option of 4 week, 8 week, and 12 weeks, right? If it is a 4 week course, that is considered as half FDP of 1 week. If it is going to be an 8 week course, it is considered as a full FDP of 1 week, right? If it is going to be an 12 week course, right, then it is considered as a 1.5 of FDP, right? They will consider one FDP. No, it's going to be 1.5 times of the FDP. Where I have given a URL also, you can get this circular also in the in Google. You can Google it and you can find out these details, right? Now coming to the actual session, how to prepare a good FTP proposal, right? Now we have to give more weightage to this, right? Because why is 55 marks is there only for this, right? So the selection of the topic must, you have to spend your time, you have to find out the peers, and you have to get a better topic. Then follow the mandatory guidelines, whatever the guidelines, whether any statutory, right, body, we have to follow the mandatory guidelines. So we should not violate any of the system, any of the timing, any of the attendance requirement, anything. Right? Then the teaching learning content, whatever it may be, don't violate any of these things, right? You have to apply in advance. That is essential. Then selection of resource persons. You spend some time on this to find out the expert, right? So if you get that, then the FTP goes in a different manner. Then similarly, the person who scrutinize your proposal will also know what to do and what to not do, what in what manner they can reject. If you are going to have a very good topic and if you are going to have a very good resource person to identify it, then they can't able to reject the proposal, right? Of course, it's going to be a short shot for you, right? Then the session highlights, right? We may think, right, my topic is about the e-vehicles, right? So e-vehicles, in the sense, you may have plenty of parts over it, right? You may talk about the converters, you may talk about the chargers, you may talk about the battery management system. You can split into parts, right? And you have to show it in a session highlights, right? So in which thing, which session, which all important, you split up and work as such, right? Then the preparation and homework, it's essential. You have to prepare and you have to make a homework on this, right? Otherwise, uh, the participants experience, right, they will get into dull, right? So they don't think they are getting the correct points, or they are not that much catchy towards your FDP. It is somehow a disturbed one. So the preparation is essential, and homework towards that is also essential. Then experience in conducting FDPs, right? Of course, if you have experience in conducting FDPs, which is very good, well and good, right? So you can think so many things instead of doing the work in a manner which is going to take more time, right? You can go and do the smart work, right? You can have a smarter working environment. So experience not only in conducting FDPs, experience in any category, which is always useful for us. You can find out the problems. You can know very easily where the problem comes and how you can eliminate all those things. I will have some examples with us also. We'll discuss that, right? So next is the organizing successful EFTPs. This is the quote given by my Dean Academic. He is the convener of this FDP. He say, see, Prakash, you cannot go and sell the mattress directly. Instead of that, you say, sell those who want to have a good night's sleep. You can, they will easily attract you. You can sell good night's sleep, instead of the mattress, right? So this FDP is also the topic what we choose also need of the hour, because we have seen a tremendous changes after this COVID-19, this COVID situation, right? So we tell to the students, don't use your mobile phone in the classroom. Now we all are linked with the computer, internet, and mobile phone to the students. The situation has changed, right? So what happens is the need of the hour and the topic, what you do, you just make some changes. You have to be ready to accept the challenges, right? So such that this is an idea. He gave me a word like that. So I have kept that. Then timing of the FDP, that should be more flexible, convenient, and accommodating, right? As he said, only the attendance will be given in WebEx only, right? So after the program, I will requesting. Some of them may have an issue, network issues like that. So on behalf of participants, you have to consider that, and you have to tell at what time you will give all the things, etc. The flexible, convenient, accommodative timing, all these things are most important. But when you come for EFDP, almost you can make all these things as per your wish. No such big things in this, right? You can make it more flexible. You can keep an alarm in your phone at what time it starts, and you can do etc. everything. Similarly, we got an issue once we started this FDP, right? We have got an issue. We have a registration from Ethiopia, then we have a registration from Malaysia, right? The Ethiopia person, he asked us, right, sir, from morning session we can attend, no issues, but in afternoon session, that is if it is up to 3:30 or 4, then 4 plus 4 8, here we have some timing related issues, etc. everything. This point why I'm telling is, when you are going to conduct an EFDP, which is not that it is limited to only national participants, right? It can be even moved to international participants also. We never asked, or we never sent any invitation to international participants, but almost we hold, I think, more than 30 international participants, right? They have asked some queries and questions, we have replied. So you make the timings also as per IST, Indian Standard Timings. That point also to be shared, as it is my topic is a review, so I am sharing all these things with you. The next one is about the potential audience, identifying the potential audience, right? There is no answer in this, right? If it is the FDP is with respect to a particular department, right, then you can do as such. If the FDP is with respect to combination of multi department, like that, you can do, right? Then if anything with respect to teaching learning process, then it can be, it can cover the entire teaching faculty. So there is no point in screening a movie in an empty theater. That is right. So these are some of the things. Then you can see about the deliverables, what are the things you are going to deliver, etc. Everything. So we have made an steps process, right, in making the FDPs. First is identifying the convener, right? So because this will be useful for you, so we have given that as a step-by-step process. Then required approvals, right? So identifying the convener is more easier. Whether the department says you are going to be the convener, they will do it easily. Let's come to the practical situation, right? You are going to be the convener for the FDP, then you have to do all the works, right? Or if the institute from the management level say you have to do, then you have to do all the work. Of course, the case is like that. If it is not going to be like that, right, then you have to identify the correct person, whether you are HOD or management, your principal or whomever, so they give you. Then required approvals in the sense, you are applying for AICT, one case, then you have to get approval from the HOD level, then from the dean level, then as far as concern, we have to talk with register, vice chancellor, then we have to talk with the management. So the approvals goes to all the stages, right? It's better, you can check what is the your status, and you can go with, you can just inform all the things, right? Whatever you are going to do, you can get the required approvals when and where it is required, right? Then technological resources, some of the resources are available in the college itself, right? If anything, the topic is going to be new, right? Something new, you want something software, right? Then you have to procure it. So the availability and the requirement, where you can make it, you can estimate it, right? So then you have to see that, and you can give that or to the management whether you want that, and whether that software or the instrument or the source what you are going to use it, whether that can be later on used to the students or not. Even you can decide something like that instead of uh, getting a source, right? Getting in software only for the FTP, that's going to be different. After that, thereon it can be used for the society or for your department, anything like that, then you can do as such. Then the division of the session topics, which is also most important one, right? So you can select the session topics, you can select the resource persons. So resource persons, in the sense, as far as our experience is concerned, uh, you can have a cluster of resource persons, right? Even I have attended a workshop with Atal and IIT DM, similarly workshop with NITTR, right? So where uh, in most of the that is recognized and structured workshop, right? And this FDPs, we used to see um, both industrial as well as academicians, right? So similarly, what I am saying is, when you are trying for a resource person, you do try to get both academic person as well as industry persons, right? Take them as the resource person. The next is implementable action plan, right? So how you are going to implement it, that implementable action plan, any action you have to make a plan, right? So this action plan has to be done perfect. The next one is, there will be, whenever you plan and you do all the step-by-step process, surely there will be some expected turbulences, right? Whether you may have an FTP on this day, then that has changed suddenly. So any situation, any problem on making the sessions, shuffling the sessions, right? Then the problem with the participants, then there is going to be some hard situation as what COVID has given to us now. Anything, any expected turbulence. So that's what we are telling. The convener should be capable of negotiating them and adjusting all those things. Right? Then we come to the next steps. That's about the backups. So whatever the work you do, you mostly try to keep the backups, because all the persons, they need the data. Some of them they want this one, that one, etc. Everything, as well as even your data is also maintained. Then next is making an e-brochures. See this e-brochures, which is going to be a different one when compared to the conventional brochures. Say, and a small example I say, right? When you make an e-brochure, just if I am going to share the e-brochure, right, with me, then the e-brochure I am going to share it to my group. In my group, we have an 15 members or 5 members. Then they will share it for next 10 to 15 friends. So this 15 becomes multiplied by another 15. Then that 15 will be multiplied by another 15. As for as concerned, we want to take utmost care in making the e-brochure. If you make a conventional brochure, you will send to 50 colleges. If there is going to be any changes, you can just make a call to all the 50 colleges and you can inform them this is going to be the changes in that, whether the date or what the session, etc. But nothing will happen in a e-brochure. Each and every point has to be corrected, and you have to check for multiple times, and then only it can be forwarded, because the messaging and meeting tools what we use is totally different and totally very fast, right? You have a very huge response, and even I will tell what is our response level also. So making the e-brochure, the maximum exposure, all this comes to us. Then the database management, right? So how many of them have registered, and how my data are managed, how I am going to give them all the information through the email or through some messaging tool or whatever it may be. Right? So this database has to be done exactly, properly, without any mistake. The next is about the communications. So it's sending about the communications. Then the delivering platforms. Right? Hardly we use this web tools as the delivering platform. So there is no more tough issues on all these things. You can very easily do this. Then the feedback and analysis. Any program you do as being a teaching faculty, I suggest to you, you should have a feedback. Whether that feedback may be an hard, that is, if the feedback is going to be a very hard feedback for you, right? Telling whatever you are taking, sir, it is very waste for us. Okay, let me accept, right? So whatever the points you have given, it is good for us. Let me, okay, we accept, right? When it is good, you have to go for excellent in next session. When it is very bad, we will try to come to the good. That is going to be the next session, right? So we will try to get the feedback and we have to analyze the feedback, right? It's not my work is done only just showing all these things. As my convener says, so your work is about a review of the EFDP. So that's why I try to give my maximum. But most of you, all of you know about all these things. So you may feel it is somehow hard, or you may feel, okay, this is somehow useful. Let me see all the feedbacks and I have to use the feedback also with me. The final session is going to be the certification provision, e-certification. We all will provide e-certification to all of you. Right? Then the next part comes is about the convener should be an tech savvy, non-weary, and prompt responder. Right? The convener, who is the person, he should be an tech savvy, because we cannot go and find out all the times a network engineer or an computer, that is this system admin, to come and correct each time and every time, right? So he should be, when you are going for an EFTP, he should be a tech savvy, right? Then non-weary, he has to be used so many times. Then the prompt responder, whether anybody asks any question, you have to respond. So yesterday I thought my dean has convinced you all, because of the problem with the resource person, where he is in a very hard situation, where he cannot come and talk. So he has responded. He is going to be a fast responder, right? And he has given him the entire solution. Then similarly, then next comes the approvals, as we have discussed: HOD, finance committee, statutory bodies, etc. Everything. Then the resources you can procure or outsource. Any resource person, right? Whether if you have, you procure, or you can outsource and you can done the topics, right? Coming to this resource person, you have a small problem. Even I also feel that even I attended some of the FDPs where we have also got the problem on this, right? So I'll tell you, from February, right? Sorry, then this April 6th, right? I had a program with ATEL and NITTR. Then Dr. Silva, he is the in charge of that. One day there is a problem with the resource person who has come into afternoon session. Right? There is a network issue; she can't able to connect. Right? Immediately, convener has started this session because the participants were 792 at that time, right? With the network issue. So he has started and he has given the complete presentation. So 1.5 hour time is matched by you. This will happen most of the time. The session topics and RPs. The session topics and resource persons mix and match. There will always be a mix and match. There will always be a permutation and combination and iteration until you get the optimum result. So this one you have to make a trial and error basis, right? There will be surely an mix and match, and you can do the entire iteration process to get the optimum result. There is no compromise on this. You can do any compromise, but there is no compromise on this, right? So most common RPs withdrawing at the last minute. So I have included that point also. Mostly they try to withdraw at the last minute. Then about this network bandwidth, we have some problems with the network bandwidth. Most of the times we have this, right? When there is going to be more number of problem, that is participants available, automatically we will have the network bandwidth issues. So you have to take care that also. Then about the video to audio connectivity, right? So even though we say something, we don't know, sometimes we press this audio signal, right? Then you may not get the video clearly, you may not get the PPT clearly, you may have the audio problem, etc. Everything. Then the next one is the issue between the host and the panelists or the participants. Always there will be some issues between the host and the panelists. That's why while organizing the FDP itself, at the very first we said, right? What we said that is patience is very important, right? For this EFDP, and particularly the problem is only with the host, right? So participants, they send plenty of chatting, the messages, etc. Everything. So it is all only with the problem of the uh, host, right? Right. Then we'll move to next about the e-brochures. As I discussed, I'll tell the live example for us. Right. We have designed the e-brochure, and the morning we discussed, and then with a very ordinary PPT design only we did. Then my dean has given some ideas. Then we made, etc. Once when I started circulating through the our own university group, right? Then it started going on, and even some of my friends were calling and asking me, I have seen an FTP, so I want to apply, whether you can take care, etc. Everything. See, it is coming in a different phase, right? Then one person, he is in Maldives right now. He asked, and he is calling me and asking, right? So I have seen this link, whether you are also associated with that. Can I do that? Right? Okay, you can connect. So this e-brochure is very dangerous. Whether I say this electronic brochures, right? It's very dangerous. You don't expect it can reach multiples. It can reach many peoples at a time, right? For that only we are telling repeatedly date, timing, spell checks, etc. Everything should be done, right? Print brochures replaceable to intended participants only, mostly not widely circulated. That's about the print brochures, where e-brochure can reach thousands within a few hours, right? In our case, we have given that an example. For this FTP, we have given the, that is through WhatsApp only we have sent all those things. But what happened is with the Google Forms, what we have, within 16 hours, right? On the day night, Dean started seeing and telling me, see, minute by minute, the participation registration is going on, right? So we have stopped really, whether you believe or not, 16, after 16 hours, we have stopped the registration because it's getting more than 2000, right? So when we are using an WebEx as a free version, right? If crosses 750 and all, we will get the problem. But on the first day, we had a crowd of more than 1579 or 1600 something, right? My dean knows very well about that. So we have handled, but this WebEx, they say they can handle even 3000 persons at a time with all their video and audio, etc. Everything. So you are going to make it, you just make a pinpoint on this, right? This thing can happen, right? So we have to take extra care on this. That's it. Then about the database management, right? So coming to this data, if you all can hear me clearly, it is this data management is going to be a very big tool, right? Where it will even you don't think so many things are happening, right? So I attended one workshop. He's Mr. Chandrasekhara from TCS. He said that, right, data collection makes you more richer than any other business you do, right? So that is about this. We are not going to take any of your data. He said like that. So what he said is, when you go for an rail Wi-Fi, that is when you go to railway stations, when you go to bus stations, and wherever airport, wherever you get free Wi-Fi, we will just go and enter all our details, right? We will give our mail ID, we will give our phone number, we will get a OTP, we will connect half an hour at free Wi-Fi. We will be very happy when you get a free Wi-Fi, right? But what happens? Your true data is exactly your true data is present to the end user, right? They are going to collect your true data. With the true data, they can capture and they can do whatever they want to do, right? We have an ethical hackers, right? They say, if I know a person mail ID, Then with the mail ID, they are getting into your social profile. They'll see you, what is your current name, what is your area, then what is your child name, etc. Everything. So what they do is, right, if they know that, then very easily they get into your account, they will get into your mail, right? Hardly what is the password we use? Your child name with 123 at, right, or 123 hash. This is what we do, right? Most probably we used to do like that. Or your wife name, your that is, if it is an boyfriend, then a girlfriend name, like that they do. So with the Facebook profile and with the social media profile, they collect the details and the hackers will do all the works, right? So this data management we do in a good manner, right? We will collect it from the Google Forms. But whenever you go and if you use any free Wi-Fi, anything like that, when you give your entire details, you have to be very careful. That's why I shared it. You can see this Google Forms. Can you imagine without a Google Form, right? So how to make the registration process? Getting a hard copy, sending the hard copy to the person, and making hard copy to come and receive to you. It is all endless, right? Now nobody will accept if there is not going to be a Google Form, then no registration for that FDP. This will happen, I am sure. After this COVID situation, only the thing they will realize, right? Unless otherwise there is going to be an Google Forms, then only they do the registration itself, right? So once when you do the entire registration with the Google Forms, then you can get all the data in the Excel. Whenever you want, you can respond to them, or if you want to send any auto mailer, you can do that. You can close that, close the response, etc. Everything you can do. It's very easy. You just type Google Forms, you can see, and you can give the details. Then it will send. You can have copy the link. Just you can paste it in WhatsApp web so that your WhatsApp will come in and computer itself. You can do that. Right. Then next is email communications. We have this. There is a small problem on this. What is this email communications? Is number of mails per day is limited. Even if you use a Gmail also, the number of mails is limited. When you are going to use a mail which is associated with your university or institute account also, the mails are limited, right? So if that is the case, so what you have to do, if you have 2000 participants, 3000 participants, you break into 3 or 4, right? FDP1 at gmail.com, then you can make it your college name FDP2 at gmail.com. You can give the information, just a pinch of information, but it will be useful for you, right? Then an Outlook Messenger, you can use an Outlook Messenger. It's personalized but limited to 25 mails per day. Thereafter it will be chargeable. It's all with the Windows OS, so you cannot do anything over that. So the solution is multiple email IDs, and you should be prompt and polite, right? They will ask plenty of questions when you are connected. I have to ask my dean. He is going to be the host, right? So if you ask him, then he can tell what are the questions he got from the participants and how polite he answered for all those things. That is also a very major point. Then the data management. What we say is, when I collected all your details, I have to manage the data properly, right? I have to see how many of them were doctorates, right? How many of them were professors, assistant professors, associate professors, right? Then their designation, experience, gender, state, everything you can do it very easily everything you can do it very easily in an Excel sheet, right? So that can be done. You can see that, right? Then next is registration form to include appropriate details, right? While collecting that, because you may be answer to the management, or you may be answer to the convener, right? So how many doctorates attended, how many males females attended, questions can be fired against you, right? If you are going to be the convener, then you will be fired with plenty of questions, right? How many doctorates attended the program, how many industrialists attended the program, then how many males, how many females, right? How many of them from our state, how many of them from other state, how many participants from international level. So if you want to give the answer for all these things, you have to manage the data very perfectly. But Google Form holds it, right? You can get it in Excel. You can just use the filters. You can get all the details, and you can tell the numbers, fraction of seconds. You can do that. No issues with that. But only thing is that you have to manage it properly, right? Taking number of registrations and etc. Everything. Google Forms have the checkpoint criteria, make the phone number, email ID, etc. So there is another issue with that. All right, what is that is in the Google Forms, if it is number, right? If they type, if you give select only this column is going to be a number, then they can type any number. Some of them will type the phone number as +91, then 0, and then their phone number, right? Some of them will type number itself. Some of them will type 0 hyphen and then number, right? Instead of that, you can give them a clear instruction. Only phone number, 10-digit phone number is essential. If they type for 11-digit, then it should not accept. You can keep that, right? You can keep as such. Similarly, email IDs also, you can see that they can type only their email ID at gmail.com or at someother.com. Otherwise, the email ID is also not going to be a complete one. You can take care of that, right? Now, coming to this EFDPs, right? So you can take care of all these things, right? So what are the requirements, right? Then what are the basic things? What are the steps you have to follow for the FDP? Now, shortly, I'll go through some tools for the e-content developing for the, right? Whether any FDP you do or any program you do, it is essential for you to have a e-content, right? So whatever, whether you are going to do some conventional FTPs also, you are going to make it as an that is a presentation should be shared. I have seen so many messages. You have to give the presentation. We need this presentation. For that, Dean is answering for all the questions, right? So a small idea on developing an e-content, right, for the FDP topics or whatever it may be. Even you can use it generally also. I think almost all the faculty members, due to this COVID situation, you are somehow here and there, right? In this time, if you have the laptop with the network facility, even you can also try for this, right? So you can see this, the e-content, it's 24/7 availability. When you make a e-content, which is available for all the times, right? Then it is highly scalable, anytime, anywhere accessibility. You can be anywhere, you can access it if you develop the content, right? Then this one is also going to be cost efficient, right? Then it's an better retention, multiple times you can use it, you can reuse it. Then faster availability. This is why we go for e-content, right? You see plenty of NPTEL videos, then MOOC courses from Swayam, and then you see so many YouTube channels, etc. Everything, right? You are going to take NPTEL and your YouTube channel together. You see all those things, then you try to develop your own e-content. Right? You can see e-content for FDP, right? What are the basic requirements? First one is you need a laptop or a desktop. Then second is an internet. Third one is some good softwares for that. Fourth one is patience. Fifth one is Animaker, right? Some animation tools. Even you define something, say to when you switch on, the lamp will glow. When you switch off, the lamp will not glow, right? The conditions has to be shown as an animation. So you should know something about the Animaker also, because this one I am telling for with my case as an example, that anything you do, whether for a thermodynamics, right, heat and cooling, and then of the process, etc., everything. Similarly, for a computer and electronic students, any logic gates, anything they want to do, they should have an Animaker. So we have shown that also here, right? So a laptop, internet, software, patience. Patience is very essential, because you cannot complete the work all of a sudden when you go for a e-content. It will take a more time. So patience is also more important. Then the preparation, right? So how to prepare for the e-content? We can focus on an article. You try to write it as simple as you can, because when you make the e-content, which will reach high-end potential students or the members, similarly, it can reach even a lower end or potential students or members also, right? So you try to give it as simple as you can. Prepare with some originality, right? Say if it is going to be some definition and concepts, right? You can give utmost, right? But the defense you cannot do, and the concepts you can explain it with some originality. Then correct before you post the same thing, the repeated thing, e-content. Okay, the same thing. When you post it, it goes be viewed by multiples. So correct it before you post. Be creative and honest. Whatever we do, we have to be somehow more creative, and you have to be honest. Allow feedback and comments. All the times we say you want to allow the feedback and comments, then only you can come up, right? Then the tools for e-content. You have graphics editing tool, you have video editing tool, audio editing tools, animation tools, authoring tools, right? So if a e-content, right, is coming means it has to undergo all these process, right? Graphics editing tool, video editing tool, audio editing tool, animation tool, authoring tool. Authoring is the final session of the tool, right? So it has to undergo all these tools. So category of tools for e-content. uh, when you come to tools, now I am saying here, you have so many tools, right? So who will go and buy all these tools? It's really hard. You cannot go and buy all the tools, right? Because that is not our job. Okay. So if that is the case, the category of tools for e-content is given here. One is freeware, common to all, open source, right? You can modify and share. It is publicly available. Source code is publicly available. Then proprietorship, that's a closed source. Right. So freewares where anybody can use, right? That's a software which is given. Then open source, you can modify and share, right? And you can use the limited sources, etc. Then some of the softwares are proprietorship, where without buying it, without the keys, you can't able to use at all. That is the one case, right? The next I will show some of the graphics editing tool alone, right? See this, you just know about these tools, right? If you know about these tools, or maybe my Dean may share these slides also, you can just see this. If you know these tools, right, then you can go and you can download it to your computer, and then you can use it. Where I have kept a diagram, that is an image here. This image shows the symbols of plenty of the tools. And the graphics editing tool, coming to that, Canva is the most important one we use. Adobe Photoshop, Pixlr, GIMP, right? All others also. These are the graphics editing tools: Snappa, Photar, PicMonkey, etc. Everything, right? Unless otherwise, if we are going to do something very huge, right? You can use the lighter version, or you can use the free version, right? Where you can do it and you can use it, right? Then next is video editing tools, right? This is also very nice because we will capture the video, and at some of the times, even we may get some disturbances. At that time, if you want to cut that video, then you should know something about the video editing tools. What is the video editing tools we have? We have Magisto, we have OpenShot, VideoPad, Final Edit, Vegas Pro, Filmora, right? This OpenShot is only for the Linux users. That is operating system. You can use Windows, you can use Linux, or if you use Apple, then you may have iOS, right? If that is the case, OpenShot can be used only for Linux users. Then this Vegas Pro, which is from Sony, right? That's a Sony companies. They also call it as Sony Vegas Pro, right? Sony Vegas, like that. You can use that also. Filmora is also can be installed in all the OSs, right? Some of the editing tools which can be installed in all the OS, and some of them were restricted because OpenShot and Linux, they were closely related, and you can use OpenShot only in Linux, right? Then next is about the audio editing tools, right? So audio editing tools we are talking, and we are trying to prepare. So if you see that, right, then you can see Adobe Audition CC, right? Then Audacity. This Audacity is used. You can use it. It's an freeware. Ocean Audio, then Acoustica, Amadeus Pro, Fission, Sound4. All these were free versions which can be used probably on Windows, right? And on iOS, right? Some of them were limited, but I hope so. Most probably, we all will use Windows OS, right? So if that is the case, then you can try with any of the audio editing tool. Probably you can try Audacity, right? That is most easily you can use that. The next is some animation tools, right? We should have some knowledge on developing this animation for engineering studies, or maybe any part, depending upon the faculty and their own department. They can even have, if they have a time, then they can try on this. Because why I'm telling is, if you are going to go to the classroom, physical classroom, and you will have a 60 students, you can attract the 60 students towards with your board and the chalk, right? Hardly not more than 20 minutes, right? Most of the psychological impact, right? The professors have said that only 20 minutes a person can attract by others. In between that, you will have plenty of disturbances, and after 20 minutes, surely you will have disturbances, right? So if that is the case, right, what they decided is, if it is an AV, something like animation, right, then the attraction of the students towards your side, right, the time can be slightly increased. Instead of 20 minutes, you can increase them to 30 minutes, 40 minutes, like that, right? So that is one thing. You can attract the students, right? If that is the case, you can support, you can use these tools, you can define, you can make your own e-content, right? The same can be used for FDP also, right? So you can use Adobe Illustrator, Adobe Photoshop, Adobe Flash, Adobe After Effects. Then Autodesk also takes more animation tools. Autodesk, they have Maya, 3ds Max, etc. This Maya and all, which is all used in cinemas also, right? Mostly in cinemas, and seeing all the animations, right? Big animations, etc. All these things, this animation tools can be used, right? Then about the authoring tools, right? Authoring tools, in the sense, when you do all the four process, right, the content developing, then making an audio, then inserting some videos, and wherever you need, you can make the animation. After completing all the process, you can come to this authoring tool, right? That's about the EXE Learning, Z, Adobe Captive, Glowmaker, Learns, right, learning system management, managing system, all these things. And some of the captions I have showed here, right? All these things are authoring tools. You can make the final version wherever you want. You can edit, you can move, you can insert. All these things can be done. Then you will make the final version, right? So you can see an YouTube video, right? I have given the link here from Dr. M. Datta, right? Who has explained this tools nicely, taking one tool and giving some simple examples also. Dr. M. Datta from NITTR, right? I think this may be useful for you, right? That is about the authoring tools, right? So now we have come across the FDPs, then the requirements, right? Then how to make the FDPs, then what are the tools making an e-content for the FDP, and then the next one is online tools, right? That is messaging and meeting tools. I say online tools in the sense messaging and meeting tools. We mostly don't know about Zoom or this WebEx or Microsoft Teams, etc. Everything before the COVID period, right? I agree. Yes, yes. Please, sir, somebody mute your mic. I agree. I myself don't know more about this Zoom or Cisco, WebEx or Microsoft Teams or anything like that. I don't know, right? And most of the colleges or universities, those who have ERP with you, right? You have your own enterprise software with you, then you can very easily bring your own ERP connected with the Microsoft Teams, or you can connect it with the Cisco WebEx, right? Then you can do the online class, and you can record the entire process. You can have a complete version, etc. Everything with you, right? So that can be done very easily. So we will have a small impact on this online messaging and meeting tool. It's that we'll see. We'll come to this. So what are the plenty of messaging tools you have, right? I have shown some of the symbols, right? You can see these were the symbols, some of the symbols, right? The messaging tools. Now you know, you get some idea on seeing this, right? Your Facebook Messenger, your WhatsApp, Twitter, Instagram, WeChat, Telegram, Microsoft Teams, Cisco WebEx, Vibe, Twist, and 30 more tools are there, right? You can Google it and you can find out. There is no big survey on this. You can very easily Google it. You can find out all the messaging tools, right? So here, probably in my university, I use Microsoft Teams, right? And we use WebEx Teams with my own university ERP. I'm using Microsoft Teams, right? And then for conducting all the FDPs like this, we use WebEx Teams, right? And then we use WhatsApp for our own group, that is sharing the official informations, etc. Then personally, we all will use the WhatsApp also. Then you all heard about Twitter, Instagram, plenty of users in Twitter, right? Instagram. Even in you go to mygovernment.in, the website by Indian government, where you can see the messaging and meeting tools, right? If you want, you can see that also. Then a small information on this messaging tool, right? Probably we all will use WhatsApp, right? There is no doubt in that, right? That is the case. Okay, we'll see some details on WhatsApp, which is founded in 2008, right? By this past 10 to 12 years, we are addicted towards this WhatsApp, right? By this two persons, Brian and Jam, he made us addicted towards their tool. You can think of brain and the powerful tool they have developed. We are going to use it in a good manner, right? You can see 430 millions of monthly users. You have 430 millions of monthly users. I've kept star in all the points. At the end of the points, I kept the star. So what is that? It means is it's daily changing, right? You cannot give a consolidated figure. This is the point. It is concluded. You cannot do that. So that's the thing we have kept like that. Roughly 1 million users added up daily, right? Then 72% of users check the app every day. Almost now it may reach, even in COVID times, it may go even up to 100% also, we don't know, right? Unless otherwise, all of them checking the app every day. Then users check the app 23 times a day. If I am a hardly a correct user, I'll check my WhatsApp, right? That's the app 23 times a day. Even you can think, you can ask a question your own, right? You can ask a question for your own, right? Whether you are using 23 times a day, I think in this situation, you'll be using more than that, right? More than 23 times a day. Right. Then 50 million messages are processed every day. They are processing more than 50 million messages, right? 50 million messages in the sense, right? You can see. Then the next point is going to be 500 million images are processed every day, because we used to do no very easily. If anyone sends you an picture saying good morning, right, and with a cup of a coffee symbol, they will give you a good morning, right? Then if you press it, see it, and then you share it for all your friends. Is it right? This will happen, right? So instead of typing something, these images are moving in more than 10 times and 100 times, like this it is going. So, but these were the informations. But what I am trying to say is, right? You see, I have a easy way of connectivity, right? You can connect the entire persons, right? Very easily you can connect them, all the groups. But you have a disadvantage. Your WhatsApp, one group, it can accommodate only 250%, 256, I think so, right? It can accommodate only 256% per group. So if your FDP has 1,000 people, then you want to create 4 WhatsApp group for them. Group 1, group 2, group 3, group 4. That is what happening right now. You can invite them through a link. Invite link can be initiated and you can invite them. Then you can have an admin control, right? You can have your own admin control so that nobody can send any messages. You can trap them, right? So then you can remove them. You want to remove, you can remove them. All these things were slowly one by one developed. For us, for a FDP, EFDP, how to make it more that is efficient one, you can use this messaging tool. You can share the location and so on. So many good things are there. You can use that. Then next one is meeting and web tools. We have discussed only about the messaging tool. Now it is meeting tool. Right now I am meeting all my peoples. Okay, so I am meeting it. So my meeting and web tool, I have this meeting, some of the meeting tools. You can see in this diagram also, I have an image where they have plenty of Skype, Zoom, etc. Everything. Most of the tools are there. For preparing workshops and meetings, you can use one this image and you can complete your FTP, right? You don't want to go for here and there. You don't have to crush your mind to take so many things. You can use this one picture to take. So this is Cisco WebEx meetings with your university or an institute sign up. You can get and you can connect multiple users. Then you have Zoom, GoToMeeting, TeamViewer, Skype, Microsoft Teams, Google Hangouts. You have BlueJeans, Adobe Connect, Blackboard, Collaborate, and 20 more, depending upon the region, right? So whether you are from an Southeast Asian countries or US and UK, right, or from Canada, like that, something depending upon the region, they think which one is more familiar, right? You can see we in our Asian countries, they used to have more Zoom meetings, right? But in even recent days, we got the notification also Zoom meeting is not going to be that much security. There will be some security issues, etc. Everything. So that's why instead of Zoom meeting, most of them go for Cisco WebEx meetings. I'll give some information about the Cisco WebEx meeting, right? And then you can see Skype and all, you all know when your family members or your friends were in this somewhere in foreign countries, we used to talk with Skype, right? That is by Microsoft, right? So you can talk to them with Skype. Then Google Hangouts came and it has went off. It's not up to the mark. Then Microsoft Teams with your own ERP, you can very easily connect with the Microsoft Teams, right? Then some small points on this Cisco WebEx, right? Many of you telling thanks, it means I'll complete in time. You don't worry, right? So whether the session is really good, I also feel happy. Or you are giving so many thanks in the sense, many more appreciations, you have to complete it close or very fastly. I don't think so, right? Anyway, we'll see this. Cisco WebEx, it's founded in 1995 by Subra Iyer and Minsu. It's a collaborate and what, right? Where Cisco WebEx events, it can service for video and web conferencing with a capacity of 100, 500, 1,000, and even it can go up to 3,000, right? That's what they are saying. When you have a very good network and good internet facility, we can try up to 3,000 also, no issues with that, right? You can see into that. Then you can see this video and web conferencing. Mostly you can see their clients on Cisco WebEx, right? It's all some multinational companies, right, where they will have the client to peoples and the officials and the branches meetings, etc. Everything is done in this Cisco WebEx. It plays well with others and got cloud sharing storage. You can store the PPTs, participant details, chats, etc. Everything can be done. So it has its own storage facility also. And apart from all other tools, right? To be openly discussing, I have used some of the tools that I am saying. Cisco WebEx has got a very best mobile experience, right? You can very easily use with a mobile, right? It even use with a very light internet also. It will give you a quality audio and videos it will receive and it will do. I don't know how they are doing. When Zoom with the limited participants here, even though the participants is going to be higher, right? Cisco WebEx do its best even on mobile internet and mobile handling. So you can get into that. Then one unparalleled speed and bandwidth. Right? It's about the purely the technical terms. It provide even multiple levels of security. So that's why you can see even all the ASD online FTPs, everything is conducted mostly by Cisco Webex, right? So it provides multiple level of security from scheduling meetings to authenticating participants to sharing the contents, etc. Yeah, right? After completing the process step by step, right? Starting the EFTP, right? Then preparing the contents, right? Then using the tools, that is messaging and meeting tools. All those things are over. The final part is this e-certificates to the participants, right? Doing all their works, right? And getting pressure from their own parent institution, and you have to do all your work. Apart from that, your family members, right? Then with all these things, finally becomes here is that you have to do the e-certificate, right? And those who conduct EFTPs, mostly we receive e-certificate through a mail. That's all. They will do it very easily through a mail. They will send. Right. Instead of that, we with the convener we discuss something on that. I will say that also. The common problems comes in issuing the certificate is that errors in the name, surname, initial, designation, all these things comes, right? But nowadays you see e-certificates in the sense they give your name has participated in the workshop. That's all. And in the next case, your name with the college name. That's all. No designation, nothing, etc. Everything, no department. That and all will not be provided right up now, right? So what we did is we have arranged an temporary registration number for you. FTP R0001. That is for one person, right? As per the Google Forms output that's in the Excel sheet, we have given a registration form. In the registration form, your number and names will be, everything will be done. We have allotted a number, right? So what we try to do is, right? So we make this effective DBMS to avoid those errors, and we try to provide the authenticity also, right? We want your certificate to be authenticated, right? So to authenticate it, if we have the registration number with you, right, then when we get any authentication request, we will type in the Excel about your registration, and then we will get back to you very easily, right? So we kept the authentication one process because it's very easily nowadays you can scan and you can duplicate, you can take your own name, right? Then somebody can keep the name, right? And then you can do in Photoshop, everything can be done. Instead of that, we give a number, right? That is going to be your authentication. At any time you want, you can take a printout from our own website, or you can have an authentication because the parent institution will also want an authentication. Similarly, the accreditation bodies will also verify for authentication. If you go and see the NPTEL MOOC courses, right, you will be having an authenticity. You can go and download from the certificates at any time, anything. Even the committee comes and visit, they will verify your certificate with the registration number. So that is what authentication is very important. We made the authentication also for you. The next one is verifiable through website or email. Authentication can be done like this, right? Here, what is the plan for us is we will verify it through our own website, such that anybody comes, they can view your college website also. They can know what are the facilities you have, what are the departments you have, which also going to be helpful, right? Then at the same time, they can get their own e-certificate also, right? Then finally come to this assessment and feedback, which is very most important one. The assignments through the Google Classroom, you can give the assignments, right? Or even you can give the assignments through Google Forms also, right? Some online quizzes can be conducted because any program you do now, if you get an output, right? One is feedback, you can get general feedback. Another one is at least something on their what they have learned, anything like that. So we want to know that also. So that is about this online quizzes, right? And then about the e-projects, right? So whether you are going to make any e-projects, right? Anything, if we do something on industry for IoT, IIoT, something like that, then they can submit very easily a e-project. They know how to content and e-content. They can do the e-projects also, right? Then some presentations or whatever it may be, we can discuss about. all these things. Assessment and feedback is very important. Remember, there is always a room for an improvement, right? You can see in any of the educational institutions, you don't have any way closed for anyone. Right? There is always an improvement with always some compromises will be there. Right? So always you have to improve yourself. Then you should have a feedback section. So you have to create that. When you are going to conduct an EFDP, of course, you try to remember all these things. Right? Then the suggestions, right? You can take any suggestions, whatever you get from them. Then constructive criticism. Sure, we should have criticism on us, whatever the presentation we do. Whether it is really good, let me get it good. If it is bad, let me get what are the bad things, what are the bad things we know. We should know. Then only we can improve ourselves. We should not take it as a hard thing. We have to take it as a good thing, right? We have to identify. First, if I identify my mistake, right, I have to accept the criticism, identify mistake. Then next time I can be doing somehow better. Then identify the flaws and rectify them in the future. That's about my feedback. Then situational suggestions, right? So what is the situational suggestions in the sense? We don't expect this COVID-19 situation, right? If that is the case, if that is the situation, you can collaborate the EFDP, those who wish to conduct EFDP for them, right? You can collaborate with the foreign experts and conduct faculty enablement programs. Then your FDP will become an international FDP, because we never thought that we will get some international participants. So we are getting an international participants. At the same time, if I get some international experts to talk and collaborate in the medium, what you are going to conduct in the medium, then of course this becomes an international FDP program. I am attending one international FDP program. So that is what we try to say here. But when you ask for international participant and when you go for an international speaker or international expert, you should see the standard timings that will also come into account, right? The IST or what is the timing, how the timing is going to match, that is also you should take care. I think this will help you. Of course, what are the points we have discussed will surely help you. Of course, I am also in time. I have completed my session. Thanks to all the participants. I don't know whether these points may be useful to you or not. My dean has given me a chance. So we have prepared something with the help of my dean. We have prepared something and we have given it. I hope so. You can do an that is you can conduct very easily an EFDP. You can get the experts. The experts are also ready. If you invite them, they will also come. You choose any good meeting tool, right? A meeting and web tool. Then surely they will come and accept. And you can go ahead. Your organization will also appreciate you, and you can also use the time as nicely, right? And thank you all for the participants, right? Take care, be safe wherever you go, whatever the work you do, please all of you be safe. Thanks to all. Thanks to my institution for giving me an opportunity like this. At the same time, I have to thank my convener, my Dean Academics, Dr. K. Vendesh Babu, for giving me this opportunity. And I have to thank the entire management for their support, right? The brain of the program behind this is Dr. K. VV, that's the Dean Academics. And behind the tech support, we have our own system admin, Mr. A. Stephen. He is the one-man army like that. He takes care of the entire computers in our university. So thank to him also in the right time. Right. Okay. Thank you all.